In this short video, we're going to introduce Schoology assessments and how they can be used in the classroom to measure student learning within the platform of Schoology. I'm in my course, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add an assessment. You'll notice this is different from an assignment because it is a more structured response in which students can demonstrate specific material that they've learned. In some cases, the assessment can even be graded for you using the Schoology's grading engine. Let's assume that I'm a fifth grade science teacher, and the name of this is going to be Phases of Matter. I know it's the middle of July, but let's pretend it's October, and I'm going to make this assessment due October 23rd. I can set a time as well, and I can change the point value if I wish, and I can also make it possible for people to submit early. I can disable submissions and then enable it when it's closer to the due date. I can enable submissions indefinitely, or I can use certain ranges to control when students can submit the assessment. I can also add a password. That way I have more control over who submits. I'm going to leave that disabled for now. I'm going to call this classwork, but you'll notice I can also make this an ungraded assessment. Ungraded assessments are better for formative assessments when you don't necessarily want to have a grade, but you just want to know how things are doing, like a 531 check or an exit slip. Under options, I can individually assign them, which I'm going to do, and I can assign it to specific students that way. If I turn this off, then it is graded for everyone. I can publish this to students. I can disable grade statistics, in other words, not keep track of the grades. And I can also copy to courses that are not available to us. That way, when I've created the assessment, it appears in multiple classes. So you'll notice here I'm setting up the assessment now. I can add specific instructions. I have certain things I can toggle, like time limits, random order of questions. In some cases, that may be important. And I have also opportunities for students to flag questions for review and use different test-taking skills when completing the assessment. Lastly, I can decide whether students are allowed to review their results after they've submitted. I'll say sure, why not? And number of attempts students can submit. This is a formative assessment for me, so I'm going to let them have 3 shots at this. And final grade will be determined by highest score. Then you'll notice in questions, I have multiple types of questions, and we're going to take a little bit of time to talk about this, because each question has a specific role in assessment. Of course, we have multiple choice. This may be something that you're most familiar with, in which case you can create different answers to your question. You can also determine whether or not you want one possible answer or multiple possible answers. In addition to multiple choice, we also have true false. If I choose to use true false, not only do I have to say whether it's true or false, but I can also make it so that the students can correct a false statement. They have matching and ordering, which are technology enhanced items meant to simulate technology enhanced items on state assessments, similar to our Virginia SOLs. You have fill in the blanks with the drop down and drag and drop, which you may also be familiar with as technology enhanced items. There's short answer or essay, and in the short answer situation, the teacher would most likely have to be grading this. Same thing with the label image. We also have highlight, hotspot, text, and image. In these cases, what you'll actually do is you'll upload an image, and then you can locate specific areas in the image that you'd like to be the correct answer. So for example, if you've got a picture of water boiling, and next to it you have a picture of ice melting, and then below it you have ice sublimating to steam, you might highlight different areas of that picture and then ask the student in which case is the state of matter liquid, and then of course they would click on the water and that would be the correct answer. If you need more assistance with this, it's a little more advanced, but contact your ITTS in your building and they should be able to help you with that. You'll notice some other features we have is there's a number line, and there are other tools you can use to make things easier for students to demonstrate what they learn. And there's a specific short answer for math. And the reason why they have that is because you have the option to add special syllables, special symbols, and also different aspects of the math short answer that might not be appropriate for other subject areas. This is also where you'll go to determine how students are doing. Under student attempts, you'll be able to determine which students have taken the assessment and what their highest grade is. And remember, the reason why I'm looking at their highest grade is because under setup, I determined that they can take it 3 times, but then the final grade is scored by their highest assessment. Don't forget, when you're finished with the assessment, to click Save. And that's a brief introduction into the assessment engine available to us through Schoology.